Why are you nervous?
I get to interview you, that's great.
Oh, it's fun. Don't worry, it'll be painless, okay?
So you took on the challenge of making a second Kick-Ass movie.
Yes.
Why and why now?
Why and why now? Why now? Because I think I became involved with it. You know, I think they always wanted to do a sequel, but there's a big question like, how are we going to do this? Chloe's growing up. The character's still 11 in the comic book. And I sort of got into the mix with Matthew and Mark, and I said, let's embrace that. Let's tell a story of our characters growing up. And they got excited about it, and so we got to make it.
What was your first reaction when you heard there's going to be a sequel?
I was excited. You know, it was 4 years after we filmed the first one, so I don't think any of us actually thought it was going to happen. You know, we all loved working together and we wanted to do it again, but it just felt like it wasn't going to happen. And then Matthew Vaughn called us and told me that he had a great guy, Jeff Wadlow, who loved the first one, and Matthew Vaughn was still going to produce it, but Jeff wrote a great script and sent it my way, and I read it. I loved all the action. I loved where all the arcs went for the characters, and I wanted to come back and do it.
You know, it took 4 years for us to even have them talk about doing a full sequel, at least even logically, you know what I mean? So it was exciting. It was really exciting because it's a character that it's very dear to my heart, you know, and it's exciting to be a part of it for a second time.
So I like that it focuses a lot on Hit Girl and Chloe's character, because usually what you hear about most superhero movies or movies in general is that the female character can't carry a movie. So you kind of proved them wrong in that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I largely approve on.
Yeah.
So how was that, like working with her and getting...
It was a blast. I mean, she's such a huge movie star, right? And she was only 15 when we were making the movie.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. She's just fantastic, and it was just a pleasure to work with her, and her ability to convey the emotion in a scene and you know, pick up fight choreography. She could just do all these things so effortlessly. It just made it was just a joy to work with her.
What was the most fun part about it that time? I imagine probably beating up Aaron Taylor Johnson, but...
Hit me.
You're a 15-year-old girl. Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, I definitely think beating Aaron up was a lot of fun. He's such a sweet guy, and you know, I mean, we just play around on set, and that's what a lot of those, you know, a lot of the training scenes were just us fooling around on set, beating each other up, and you know, we had a great time. You know, it was a lot of fun. It was very silly, and yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's all in good fun.
In this part, the action is way more, like in the first part, it was mostly like blood and pure violence, and this time it's mostly martial arts and more gymnastic-y. How was working with all these stunts and with the action?
Yeah, I just try to give the action a sort of a visceral, grounded quality. I felt, you know, the first film, the action was largely based around the Big Daddy and Hit Girl characters who were heightened, so I thought the kind of Hong Kong wire work stuff worked really nicely for them. But I felt this movie was about lots of people trying to be superheroes and supervillains, and they're not going to fight in a similar way. Their fighting is going to be a little bit more grounded. So I worked with the stunt team to just create that vibe.
Are you generally a fan of superhero movies?
Yeah, I like superhero movies. I like it when they're well done. I like action movies that I feel like lately, like the third act has just been so, it's like, what's the biggest thing we can destroy? You know, what's the biggest city and what's the biggest destruction we can do? And I'm kind of getting numb to that. So I want to see some action movies where like the third act is more a personal fight or something a little bit more intense.
I think superhero movies are very exciting. I think they're the new vampire, you know, they're the new dork movie, you know, they're kind of cool, they're fun, they're interesting, they're silly, and you can kind of do whatever you want.
The anticipation's killing me.
What's the burning?
There's no room for punks in suits. Just real heroes who can really kick ass.
If you personally could do something like that, or would do something like that, A, would you do it, and B, which side would you fight on?
If I've learned anything from Kick-Ass, it's that putting on a costume and trying to be a superhero is a terrible idea. It's not going to work out well for you at all. So no, I would not do that. If for some reason I was compelled to do it, I'd be a good guy. Come on.
What would you be? What would your name be? Any weapon of choice?
Well, see, I used all my good names in the script. It's sort of hard to come up with a new one. I probably would be I just wouldn't do it. I'd be a guy who sits at home and watches TV because it's just way too dangerous.
Yeah, and read the comic books.
Yeah, exactly.
That's way better.
Captain Couch. There we go.
That's the best,
that's my
actually.
name, Captain Couch.
And your weapon is a TV remote control.
My weapon is my absence from the fight.
That might help.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
In this movie, it's about like superheroes teaming up. If your character could team up with a different villain from any superhero movie that you want, who would it be and why?
That's a good one. Well, I researched the Punisher a lot because he's not a super villain, but he lost. Yeah, he lost his whole family, and when that happens, he had to turn. That revenge was on his mind, and that's exactly what my character went through. He lost his whole family, so I think that might be a good duo.
If you could pick any superhero that you'd like from any movie that you've seen, who would be your number one choice to team up with Hit Girl?
Probably Kill Bill, Uma Thurman. Definitely. I think that'd be my number one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that could be sisters or something.
Yeah, it'd be really rad. Yeah.
You into Quentin Tarantino movies?
Of course, yeah. I think Quentin Tarantino is amazing. I think he does such a brilliant job at making his movies very interesting and dynamic.
That costume, was that actually comfortable at all?
No, it was miserable. It was.
Tell me about it.
It was terrible. It took like 30 minutes to get on every morning, 30 minutes to get off. I had like 5 people putting 10 hands all over me to get it on, and the mask was just like really, really tight. When you would take it off, I would have an indent in my forehead, which was very painful. It looks amazing in the film, which is all that matters, but it was a nightmare to wear.
And it's not the kind of costume where we want 10 people to touch it.
No.
Hit Girl's being in high school in this one, and as always, that's a tough time for young teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And her struggle is kind of between fitting in or fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say about that? Would you recommend or give any advices?
I mean, I definitely think I don't think people should give in to peer pressure. So I don't think they should give in. I think that you should not physically fight back at all. I don't promote that, but I think that people should definitely, there's always an inner superhero within everyone, and I think that if you're a strong being, you should be able to stand up for yourself. And if you are being bullied, go to your mom, go to your dad, go to your supervisor at school, and tell someone and be vocal about it, because it can change and it will change. And kids are afraid to speak up, and they should speak up.
Talking about superhero movies, of course, I have to ask you. You're working on the X-Force.
I am.
Is it finished? How far is it finished? And
it's not finished. I'm writing right now, literally right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's not in the frame.
It's not finished. It's a movie I'm really excited about, and hopefully the studio will be equally excited when I hand in the script.
Me too. So how many characters will be involved?
I can't say.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Isn't it exciting not to know? Like, what's it gonna be?
No, it's horrible.
I know. I know.
It is, but yeah, thank you anyways.
It's my pleasure.
Who the hell are you?
We're the good guys.
You're the dead guys.
Franz, wieder. Ow! Jesus! Yeah, there's a dog on your balls.